So, Konami has a new format, and they unbanned every card. Kind of. The format is called Genesys, and in it, we can play Kit Kalos, Pot of Greed, Graceful Charity, Painful Choice, Dimension Fusion. For all of you BA fans out there, that's right, Bearlord, Ganon, Beatrice, she is back. Now, I said Konami unbanned every card, kind of. There isn't the FNL list, however, there are banned cards. Those banned cards are every Link and every Pendulum. I think Konami wants to make a more simple format, something that brings older players back into the game, a format that doesn't have such crazy combos, but still feels like Yu-Gi-Oh! As far as the gameplay goes, it's actually quite simple in that it's the same as modern Yu-Gi-Oh! If you play modern Yu-Gi-Oh!, you know how to play it. Where it differs is in the deck building. And again, we're going to use the best deck, Heroes, as an example. Each deck has an 100-point system allocated to it. Now, different cards have different points allocated to them. For instance, Destiny Hero Plasma has 20 points. Additionally, Destroy Phoenix Enforcer also has 20 points. Now, because these two cards equal 40 points, my deck can only have 60 points left. You're probably thinking, two cards on the table, they're almost half your points. How are you going to have the other cards? Most cards are actually at 0, so your Destiny Hero Malicious, your Ferris, your Evil Hero Adusted Gold, all of those are 0. They allocate them for the really strong cards, and they do that way decks can't build incredibly big boards. You can do some things, but you have to choose. With Heroes, I think an interesting thing is they put Darklaw at 70 points, so I can't play Darklaw, Plasma, and DPE. I can't end on all three of them. So even decks like Hero have a lower power level, and I think that's actually really good. Now, I've spent a lot of time over the last 2 weeks talking to Konami about what this format's going to be, what we're actually playing for, and I got really excited when I had the answer that the format is actually going to be a side event at YCS Anaheim, Pittsburgh, and a number of others. In addition, at Anaheim, you're actually going to be able to win a 2009 Dark End Dragon prize card, which is crazy. That's such a cool piece of history. So, how this will all work? Day one of Anaheim, they're going to be running 16-person pods all day. First and second from each is going to win two things. One, their invite to day two, which will be Sunday. And the second thing, very fun, Jerome is going to be bringing a box of Starlights, which you'll get to choose from. Now, when you make it on to day two, you're playing on for the SJC prize card, but also a giant card. And also, again, just very, very cute. Jerome's bringing a box of Starlights. Wholesome. I love that.
We love Jerome. We
do love Jerome. The band list, when he comes out and there's like a big wrestling thing. I love that. Athena loved that.
I did love that.
We want more of that. That's awesome. Also, have not told you the coolest part yet. Okay. Doing a little cardio here, and we were talking a lot about YCS Anaheim. However, it gets a whole lot more exciting than that, because YCS Anaheim is just practice. Next year, 2026, and I checked, we are getting a dedicated YCS event. So we got some big things to work towards. They're really going all in, and when I first talked to them, I think this was the thing that I had the most questions about, like, what are we playing for? Is there really going to be a big event? And they're like, yes, 100%. It's going to be a side event at YCS's, and then it's going to get its own YCS. So we can win prize cards, giant cards, and then at the actual Genesys YCS, we don't know yet, but I think that's really exciting. The idea that we could bring more of a pet deck, more of a rogue deck, more of a deck that we really feel passionate about. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also having a great workout. I know that a lot of you guys who watch these actually watch them on the treadmill, doing cardio, so we're doing it together, keeping each other accountable. I love that. Maybe we'll keep each other accountable with a new format too. I know that I'm really enjoying TCG right now, so I want to keep doing that, but I definitely want to do Genesys as well. So I guess we'll just do both, and that'll be awesome. Now, I think a really fun part about this new format is finding ways to take your old favorite pet deck and make it good within this, because I do think there's a lot more room for pet decks in this type of thing. Though, you might not have to get that creative at the beginning if you have played a Rivalry of Warlords event at a YCS or at Nationals, because all of the decks there secretly have been decks that are legal in this format. They all work within the confines of the current point system. So if you went there and you played the Eldritch deck, guess what? You can play your Eldritch deck. If you went and you played the Archmage deck, you can play that. You can also play the Monarch deck or the Paleo deck. I actually got my laptop out here because a couple of the other guys were sending deck lists from the Rivalry event so that we could talk about it, show you, see what there was. And there are a lot of really cool decks. Like, I look at these and I'm like, oh, you know what? I could play that, and I could play that, and I could play that. Amazement's another one that I feel like I've always wanted to play, but I didn't feel like it was strong enough in the TCG to commit to. But I feel like here, it's a very realistic pickup. So really excited about trying those different strategies, as well as taking my favorite decks like Hero or Cyber Dragon and building those for this format. One deck, which we will not be able to play, is Lunalight, as it does have pendulums, at least not in its current iteration. But again, I think that's what's really cool about this format. You're not going to end on boards that are Double Liger, Baguska, SP, the Spell Negating Grave, you have Follow Up, you have Hand Traps. It's not that kind of game. It's not that kind of format, at least from what I've seen. They're also going to work very hard to make sure that FTKs aren't a part of the game, in that I saw Leerlist Nightingale had 1 point assigned to it, and whenever there's an FTK that they realize, they're going to assign 1 point to a card, 100 to another. That way you can't play both of them in the same deck and you can't FTK, which I feel like is a really good thing, especially for a format where you probably won't see as many hand traps, because again, the decks just won't be that powerful. So it's this really great balance. And speaking of balance, I talked to them a lot about ban lists and what the frequency was going to be like on something like this. And a really cool answer, they're looking at doing this, I think, monthly. So there are going to be a lot of updates to the format, a lot of balance checks. So if you feel like one deck is really oppressive or one deck gets way better than the rest, very quickly it's leveled out. And I think that's something that's going to make a lot of us really happy when we are playing, again, our fun decks, our pet decks, the decks that aren't necessarily viable in the TCG, but we have a special place in our heart for them, and we want to make that happen. That said, I'm looking at the clock. It's getting a little late, and I do have more I want to talk about, but I think we do that after breakfast. Good healthy breakfast, lots of protein. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to, I guess, the vlog at this point. It was initially just going to be like an informational video, but now we're doing a bunch of things. We're having fun. Still quite a few things I need to talk to you about. The first is websites. If you're looking for the list of cards and their allocated points, you can find that, I believe, on the FNL, or rather the old FNL page, where now you can be redirected into either the FNL page or the point system page. You can also find a bunch of information about this, or you will soon, on the old Konami blog, where they used to talk about different interactions and things. Now there's going to be a bunch of content on Genesys. And in addition to that, there is a deck builder site where you can go in, you can type out the cards that you would like to use in your deck, you can add them to your deck list, you can see the points that are allocated to them right there, which makes it really easy. But there's also this really cool function where, let's say you're using 2 Graceful Charities. Each Graceful Charity is 40 points. Now, if you go in there, you have 20 points left, you can actually type in 20, and that is going to give you your card pool for cards that are 20. It's going to give you a lot of cool power cards. Obviously, you could choose that, or you could choose cards which are more engine focused. I know Graceful Charity specifically because I was looking at Eldritch, and that deck doesn't really have cards that require points, so you can really play a lot of power cards, which is fun. Also, activating Graceful Charity, discarding Eldritch and a trap just seems so cathartic. This is really cool. I feel like there are a lot of neat systems in place. They have been working on this for, I think, 2 years, doing different internal tournaments and just figuring this all out so that when it does launch, it's well realized. And I feel like we are at a point where it's very well realized. I don't know if you've looked at what's on the computer here, but we have a level 2 Earth insect. It is Max C. And I bring this out because I think a lot of people, they hear that there's no more ban lists, they think Max C is back. And you'd be right, Max C is back. I think it's 50 points, so you could actually play 2 Max C in your deck. However, you might not want to. You might want to allocate those points in your deck to your actual engine. Alternatively, you might just not want to play this because decks in this format may not special summon that much. It might be about making more condensed boards because, again, if you're not able to link summon, if you're not able to do all of the crazy things that modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Permits you to do, then things are going to be a bit more slow and relaxed. And I think that's really the point of the format. I think a lot of people quit Yu-Gi-Oh! When they saw maybe the memes of tier limit format and what that looked like on the board because they felt like it was just too much of a commitment, where this is kind of a more relaxed approach, a more nostalgic approach, and something that I think will lead to more sentimental deck building, which I think is really cool. And I say all of this, again, wanting to note, I really like the modern TCG. I love big combo decks. I love playing Lunalight right now and just playing, 800 different actions in a turn. I think that's great. But I think there are also days where I want a more relaxed experience. And I think this is perfect for that. So even as a current TCG player, I think it's very appealing to me. But if I weren't playing current TCG, I think this would also be very appealing to me if I was on a break or I wasn't currently playing Yu-Gi-Oh! So I think the goal is to get people playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Again. I think by taking out pendulums, I think by taking out links, I think by making cards like Maxi less impactful, I think that brings a lot of people back. I think it also brings people back when they realize, oh, I don't have to play 22 hand traps in my deck because I don't have to stop a very oppressive board. I can play, 30 engine cards, and maybe I have 10 non-engine cards, and maybe that's enough. And I think the fact that it is working with a current card pool, it means that when new sets come out, you're not only going to have those new cards for the TCG format, but you'll also have them in theory for this format, provided they don't rely heavily on pendulums or links. But still, the fact that there are those multiple uses for your cards, I like that a lot. I think it makes core sets, new archetypes and all of that a lot more interesting because there's potentially viable in different ways rather than when a new core set comes out and you're like, that's the best deck, those are the cards I want. Now maybe we look at the other cards in that set as well. So I think it actually does a lot for Yu-Gi-Oh! In various ways. Okay, so we have our protein wraps, we have our eggs, we have our faux meat, a little bit of cheese in there. I think this says 60-ish grams of protein, so it's a good morning. I need to let this cool, so we're gonna keep talking, and we're going to do so in a fun way by asking Athena, who has helped film and edit all of this, what she thinks of this whole new format.
As a Yu-Gi-Oh player that only plays cute decks, I think this really expands the horizon for me. At Nats, people were telling me about Modolce.
Right?
Something I have yet to explore.
Good deck?
The question is, what other cute decks are there?
Melfi.
Do you think I can make a Karibo deck? Is that possible?
There's definitely enough cards in the archetype. We could play with that.
I guess because Yummy synchros, I could play it in Genesys.
You can, but you don't have Snatchy. Yeah.
Oh.
Right?
Oh.
Right? Yeah, it's interesting. Trying to figure out what decks still work and what don't. Okay, but we'll explore Modolce, Karibo, Melfi. Now, Athena mentioned she wanted cute decks, so I did a little digging in the collection. We did find Melfi. We also found Karibos. Now, I am aware that these likely won't be meta within Genesys. However, I do think they're going to be better there than they are in the TCG, and maybe it's a situation where I put together something like Gladiator Beast, and then we have fun with our fun decks in a, again, lower ceiling format. So I'm excited for that. It's also worth noting that I am going to try to record locals in the new format. I'm going to talk to 401 about starting to run some of these. That way we get to do the back and forth. If you guys haven't already, subscribe, hit the little bell button. That way you know when these videos are dropping. But I'm going to try to have gameplay for you. I'm still going to be doing TCG because right now I'm loving it. I feel like the Lunalight deck in the current format is just way too much fun. And I have some vlogs coming for you with that. But this is really wonderful. I want to say a big thank you to Konami for trusting us with this information. I know that this has been huge. I know that they've been working on this for literally years, and just playing with the ideas, seeing the different lists, I can feel how fun it is. And I want to start playing. I want to dig into more of my bulk and just see like what is viable. I'm curious what you think is viable, what you're excited about re-exploring in this format. And I remember being a kid and thinking one day it'd be really cool to go to a regionals or an SJC, and now here we are. Konami's giving us the honor and the privilege of revealing brand new formats, and that is just so surreal, and it is only happening because you guys, and you're so supportive. And thank you to everybody watching. Thank you for everybody who subscribes and leaves wonderful comments. This is such an honor. This is so surreal, and I want to say thank you to you for directly making it happen, because none of this happens. This announcement doesn't happen. These videos don't happen if it isn't for you and your support. And thank you. I'm going to try to give back by making the best vlogs we possibly can, by showing you guys as much of this format and the regular TCG as we can. Anyways, I've been talking for a long time. Thank you for being here. I would like to point you in the direction of Pheromone, Doug Zeef, Joshua Schmidt, Zulu, if you speak French. All of them also made videos on this, so you can do the deep dive over there if I missed anything. But wonderful people. I'm sure they're gonna make great videos, and I will see you soon with brand new vlogs. So again, if you haven't, subscribe, hit the little bell button. As always, guys, take care, peace and love.